when we made this podcast take in London in the summer, we had several side discussions on sport and in insurance, because there was lots of discussion about health and what's happening when there is a sport accident and a special sport, etc. Anyway, there was we had side discussions which were more in a personal level, but I was encouraged then to come back on sport and insurance. And my experience sport and insurance, I'm not a specialist actually, but throughout my career I had the chance or the challenge to insure or to develop insurance product for covering sport events, sport in terms of at amateur level or sport at professional level. An anecdote was that in my first time as CEO, I was approached to cover a national football team, and what it means by that is that we take the angle of disability, and disability for a national football player is one is injured in international duty. They come back to the club, but they can't play for 1 week or a few weeks, and therefore the club is not very happy because they have to pay to pay the player, but he's not playing, so it's a bit annoying. So, and therefore the national team was taking an insurance coverage for the players when they were in international duty, and we were approached to cover that team, and we managed to find a specific insurance. Of course, we were a small insurer. We can't take that ourselves, so we had to outsource the full risk carrying or the risk itself to Deloitte, which is a very specific, much more specialist type of reinsurer than most, and therefore we established a very good structure that allowed the national player to be covered, my shareholder to be happy because there was a very limited risk, and the Lloyd syndicate to be very happy because they were covering the team, and it worked. It was very good in terms of service. We had established the right level of value chain, and at the time I was moving to a different role in that group, and the next CEO was very uncomfortable with the situation. Sport insurance is not for everyone. You have to be a bit passionate, to be open, to be also willing to develop relationship and structure, distribution structure for in that very small segment of insurance distribution. But if you manage that, you can be very successful. And if you're not very familiar with that, or if you're a bit uncomfortable with sport or that type of distribution and risk carrying, then you don't like it. And we were covering that team. We never had a claim. So for 2 years, no claim. And my following CEO decided to cancel the contract. And the year he canceled the contract, that team became world champion, actually. So it would have been a good marketing element for the firm. But that's just the funny part. The key here is developing sports insurance product is very specific. It requires that either you have a full value chain and long-term experience, or that you rely on a large number of external partners, and you're able to then develop the right product. It's also not a segment where we should see have a short-term view. It should be a long-term view, because cycles exist and bad lucks exist as well. So it needs to be seen not in one year basis, but in several years on long-term cycles. And of course, pricing need to be adapted, coverage need to be adapted. It's also very challenging because the population that you cover, they do various type of sport. They are scattered around one country or several countries. They don't do necessarily the sport in their home club, but they also travel. Circumstance changes much more than traditional insurance. So there's a lot of variable that need to be taken into consideration that make this insurance very exciting from my point of view, because intellectually it's complex, and therefore lots of solutions need to be put in place to hedge the risk and to help all those people doing sport at amateur or professional level to recover or to be aware of what's going on. So that's usually when a club or an association, sports association, is coming to the insurance and says, "I want to cover my members. I want to cover my sports, my sportsmen and sportswomen." But let's take a totally different angle. I was a long time ago in Newport Beach and in Los Angeles for a conference on retirement. You say, Francois, retirement and sports, there's nothing to do with each other. Let me go there. But I need a bit of storytelling before. The conference, there was a strong element it was a pension conference, and it was about how much money does someone need in retirement. And that's when everything goes well, the retiree will have a very healthy life, and very limited support will be needed for the person who can be living standalone or in a family, but not much cost, and simply enjoying life. But also, there are a lot of retirees who have conditions, and they need to be helped by external parties. And that was at the moment where we were, there was a lot of discussion about cognitive disease and the cost of living independently, supported by people on the day-to-day life when you have a cognitive disease. It can amount to a very high level every month. Now, in sport, there are also a lot of examples of retirees who retire after, when they in the late 20s, in the 30s, but can very quickly get cognitive disease problems, and that requires a lot of money, so that those people can be helped in their day-to-day life. And it's not something that the clubs are thinking about. It's something that the sports men and women need to be thinking about, and be told, made aware of that situation, and also be able to invest. The best sportsmen and women, they have money for it, and they will be able to buy these insurance contracts. But basically, when you're 18, 19-year-old, that you paid a fortune in one of the best clubs in the world, in football, for instance, or the NFL, or in rugby, then you couldn't give a damn about insurance. You don't care about it. More and more now, there's awareness that's being created. This awareness being created by those people who suffer from that disease, or by insurance companies who try to approach those and work together with the brokers and agents who take care of those sportsmen and women, so that at least they put a bit of money or take an insurance contract on the side. So here, if you compare this with the first level of insurance I was talking about before, where clubs are willing to insure their members, and here where it's more a society problem for that segment of society, for that segment of the population, it's also a work of association of those people who suffer from this problem, or want to create a better future for the sportsmen and women in the future, together with insurance and the whole ecosystem of insurance distribution and the medical ecosystem working together to create the right environment and the right product, and sell them at the right moment to those sportsmen. So two different approaches in sport insurance, two different ways of doing business, two different ways of developing the product, but still two very small segments in the insurance, which I find myself very exciting, and that are growing. So it's maybe a growth engine for insurance companies too.